Today, we're diving into one of the most incredible and symbolic architectural styles ever created, Gothic architecture. It's a style that was literally designed to reach for the heavens, and we're going to break down exactly how and why they did it. So, let's start with a big question. How did people in the Middle Ages even try to get closer to God? Well, for them, the answer wasn't just in prayer. It was in stone, glass, and light. This was a spiritual quest played out on a truly monumental scale. You see, to really understand these amazing buildings, you have to get inside the medieval mindset. This was a time when faith wasn't just a part of your life, it was your life. And that incredibly powerful desire to connect with the divine is really where our whole story begins. Now we're talking about a very specific period in history. The Gothic style first popped up in 12th century France, and for the next 400 years or so, it just completely took over European architecture. This was the High Middle Ages, a time of just immense religious faith and, honestly, incredible ambition. And this gets us right to the heart of it. Gothic architecture wasn't just about building bigger for the sake of it. No, it was about creating a physical representation of faith itself. The ultimate goal was to make a space that felt, well, otherworldly. A building that would physically make everyone look up and think up towards heaven. Okay, but that amazing spiritual goal created a huge engineering problem. I mean, how do you take heavy, solid stone and make it look like it's floating towards the sky? How do you build taller and brighter than anyone had ever done before? Let's get into the secrets that made it all possible. To really get what a game-changer Gothic architecture was, you have to see what came right before it. That was the Romanesque style. And it was all about these massive, thick walls, rounded arches. The buildings were dark, kind of like fortresses. Gothic was the polar opposite. It was all about soaring height, a feeling of lightness, and just flooding the entire space with what they saw as divine light. And that is the million-dollar question. If you want huge windows, you can't have thick, heavy walls. But a stone roof weighs tons, so how on earth did they pull it off? The answer is in this incredible system of 3 interconnected, totally groundbreaking innovations. And here they are, the big 3, the pointed arch, the ribbed vault, and the flying buttress. Now, these weren't just separate ideas. They worked together like a perfectly designed machine. An ingenious structural system that completely redefined what was possible. So it all starts with the pointed arch. A classic round arch pushes the weight of the roof both down and, crucially, out to the sides. But a pointed arch, it channels that immense weight almost straight down. This simple, elegant change in geometry was the key that unlocked everything. It allowed for greater height, more stability, and it's really the foundation of the whole Gothic style. Okay, next up, the builders combined these pointed arches to create something called a ribbed vault. The best way to picture it is like a stone skeleton for the ceiling. This web of ribs gathers up all the roof's weight and funnels it down to just a few strong pillars. And just like that, the walls were suddenly freed from having to do all that heavy lifting. But even with those new vaults, there was still some force pushing outwards from the roof. And this is where the most dramatic, most famous innovation comes in, the flying buttress. These are those iconic stone arms you see on the outside of cathedrals. They literally reach out, catch that sideways force, and transfer all that pressure safely down to the ground. This was the final piece of the puzzle. The walls were now finally free to pretty much just disappear. So with the walls totally liberated from their job of holding everything up, architects could finally achieve their ultimate spiritual goal: to build with light itself. You have to understand, for medieval theologians and builders, light wasn't just something you used to see. It was a hugely powerful symbol of the divine. It was the very presence of God made visible on earth. So to fill a building with light was to create a truly sacred, holy space. So what did they do with all this new structural freedom? They've replaced solid stone with these absolutely massive stained glass windows. And these windows didn't just let in light. They soaked the interiors in this mystical colored glow, creating an atmosphere that felt completely separate from the everyday world outside. And of course, you have the iconic rose windows, which are the ultimate expression of this beautiful obsession with divine light. But these cathedrals weren't just meant to be awe-inspiring, empty spaces. They had another really crucial job to do beyond just worship. They were designed to teach. This is so important to remember.
In this era, the vast majority of people couldn't read, so the cathedral itself became a kind of visual encyclopedia of the Christian faith. It was like a giant storybook made of stone and glass, open for everyone to read with their eyes.
The outside walls, the facades, were covered in intricate sculptures of saints and prophets. The stained glass windows told detailed stories from the Bible, scene by scene. Every single element had a narrative purpose. It was all about teaching the stories and principles of the faith to anyone who walked through the doors. So, after all this, what is the lasting legacy of this incredible movement? How has it managed to endure all these centuries later? Well, the legacy of Gothic architecture is all around us, in some of the most famous and beloved buildings in the entire world. From the icon herself, Notre Dame in Paris, to the breathtaking cathedrals of Chartres, Reims, and Milan, these buildings still stand as powerful testaments to the incredible faith and pure ingenuity of the people who built them. And that right there is really the key takeaway. Gothic architecture is so much more than just pointed arches and pretty windows. It is the physical embodiment of an entire worldview, a concrete stone and glass expression of faith, of aspiration, and of that timeless human desire to reach for something beyond ourselves. So I'll leave you with this to think about. How much of a society's deepest beliefs can actually be captured in a single building? You know, when you stand inside a Gothic cathedral, the answer seems to be pretty much everything. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.